It was reported this morning that Christopher Nolan wanted to direct the next James Bond movie, but made Oppenheimer instead. But did you know he wasn't the only big-name director that's been snubbed by the 007 franchise? There's been 25 James Bond movies, 27 if you count these two. Out of those 25 films, there's only been 12 directors, and none of them, except for Sam Mendes, are particularly famous directors. That's for a reason. Since Sean Connery's first film in 1962, the Broccoli family has always had creative control of the franchise. Some would argue that's why the Bond series is great. They have a good understanding of the character. But some would also argue that the family holds the franchise in a tight grip, not letting directors with a creative vision into their universe. We found out today that Christopher Nolan expressed major interest in the Bond franchise after the release of his film Tenet in 2020. But after meeting with Barbara Broccoli, it was made clear he would not have final cut. He'd wind up making Oppenheimer instead, a film that earned nearly $1 billion at the box office and swept the Oscars. But he wasn't the only director that wanted to work for the franchise. Steven Spielberg has stated many times he's always wanted to direct a Bond movie. He even met with the Broccoli's after his film Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and was told he was too inexperienced, which is why he'd go on to make Raiders of the Lost Ark with George Lucas. It was his version of a Bond movie. Quentin Tarantino wanted to do Casino Royale. He wanted to mix the 1960s Bond tropes with edgy violence, which didn't match the vision of the Broccoli family. Danny Boyle was in deep production of Bond 25, which would later be called No Time to Die, and would drop out because, quote, the producers didn't have confidence in him. Francis Ford Coppola, Martin Scorsese, David Fincher are all names that expressed interest in the Bond series. So many people in the industry grew up on Bond. It was their version of Marvel, so it's sad to see what could have been. But as of 2025, the Broccoli's have lost creative control of the franchise, and now it's under complete control of Amazon MGM. Whether that's a good thing, you tell me in the comments.